Alright, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. First things first, my wife's book is coming out in a week. Just a week. It's been like a 2-year journey for her. But yeah, it's finally come out. We finally have copies of it. So go check it out. It's called The Immortal Game. Check it out on Amazon. And if you're in Utah, go to the King's English and you will be able to find it there. And by the way, that's a signed copy too. Alright, so disclaimer here, this deck is relatively inexpensive, but you can reduce the cost of the deck like pretty much literally by half by removing Sylvan Library. You do not have to have Sylvan Library. In fact, if you get rid of it and put in something else, cheaper, another Merfolk thing or something, the deck was less than $50. So, very budget, but it's very strong, and I really like it. Maybe not like CEDH strong, but like it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. Well, yeah, again, thank you. Let's get right into it.
What do it do? This deck is all about Merfolk. The more you have, the better you do, and the average mana value is like 3, so you won't have any problems activating Kumena's abilities whenever you want. Kumena's kind of like a planeswalker in a way. He has 3 different abilities that are activated using your Merfolk. Tap 1 to make Kumena unblockable, 3 to draw a card, and 5 to add a +1/+1 counter to all your Merfolk. This is extraordinarily strong, and if you've got boatload of Merfolk out, then you can do as many of these as you want. And you can do it even if they have summoning sickness. Ramp. Let's begin by ramping. Pillar of Origins. This one is very nice for tribal decks. It adds 1 mana of any color but can only be used for the creature of the chosen type. Double-edged sword here, but we'll take it in this kind of deck. Rampant Growth and Far Wanderings. Both search for a basic into play tapped, and Far Wanderings has the potential to grab 3 basic lands if you have Threshold. Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. These search for 2 lands, put 1 into play tapped and 1 into your hand. Migration Path and Skyshroud Claim. Same here, but both lands enter the battlefield, but keep in mind Skyshroud Claim only searches for forests. Growth Spiral and Scale the Heights. Play an additional land and draw a card. Scale the Heights also places a counter on a creature and gains 2 life as an added bonus. Merfolk Army. What's a tyrant without an army, right? Kumena's Speaker, hey, it's a speaker, hey, that's her commander. Mistcloak's Herald and River Sneak. All cheap Merfolk here, and Kumena's Speaker pretty much always be a 2/2 for 1 mana. Mistcloaked Herald and River Sneak are both unblockable, and River Sneak gets bigger for a turn whenever Merfolk enters the battlefield under your control. Tidal Warrior and Streambed Aquitect. These 2 creatures work very well together. Both make a target land an island for a turn, and Streambed Aquitects can grant another Merfolk Island Walk for a turn. See what we're doing here? More on Island Walk later. Silver Guild Dowser and Merfolk Thaumaturgist. Thaumaturgist? I don't know how to say that word, but these 2 both taps and do something. The Dowser makes another creature's power lower for a turn based on how many Merfolk you have, and the Thaumaturgist switches the power and toughness on something until the end of turn. I'm looking at you, Pillow Fort Wall decks with your 0/5s. Vineshaper Mystic Deeproot Champion. Vineshaper Mystic enters and puts a +1/+1 counter on 2 other Merfolk, and Deeproot Champion gets bigger as we cast non-creature spells. And the deck is split relatively well, making about 1/3 land, 1/3 creatures, and 1/3 other spells. So it shouldn't be a problem making this guy bigger. Kiora's Follower, Wake Thrasher. Another set that paired nicely together. Kiora's Follower untaps another permanent, and Wake Thrasher gets bigger whenever anything you control untaps. So if you have like 10 lands, 10 Merfolk, and an artifact, at the beginning of your turn when you untap everything, if everything was tapped, Wake Thrasher becomes a 22/22 for the turn. Yeah, he's pretty broken, and I freaking love it. Cold-Eyed Selkie Seafloor Oracle. Another Island Walk card here, and both Merfolk help you draw cards. Both in a slightly different way, but I guarantee you'll draw at least 1 card with these 2. Forerunner of the Heralds, Zigana Utopian Speaker. Merfolk tutor that gets bigger as other Merfolk enter the battlefield, and a wizard that draws us a card if the condition is met. And our creatures with +1/+1 counters on them gain trample. Very, very handy. Anthems. Oh, you want Merfolk power and toughness to stack, you say? Wish granted. Merfolk Mistbinder, Marrow Regery, and Merfolk Sovereign. All of these names are super complicated, and I'm slaughtering every single one of them. But all of these give all our other Merfolks +1/+1. Marrow Reachery helps you tap or untap other things as Merfolk are cast, and Merfolk Sovereign taps to make another of your Merfolk unblockable for a turn. Lord of Atlantis and Master of the Pearl Trident. My lovely friend Austin gave me a Lord of Atlantis because he's the best and such a wonderful friend. Thank you so much, Austin. Here's where some more Island Walk comes in. Another Anthem effect with both of these and Island Walk at the same time. We're getting pretty scary at this point, wouldn't you say? Icon of Ancestry, another tribal staple. Artifact Anthem that can filter through the top 3 cards of your deck to grab a Merfolk from there. Let's keep that ball rolling. Protection. We have a ton of good Merfolk in here, so we need to protect them. Kopala, Warden of Waves, and Swift Warden. Yeah, both Wardens, I just noticed that. Kopala gives all our Merfolk Ward 2, essentially, and I'm so glad they finally put a keyword for that ability. And Swift Warden has Flash and enters to give one of our other Merfolk Hexproof for the turn. Thwart the Enemy. It's a fog that protects us, but not our enemies, and prevents all damage, not just combat damage. Dive Down, Triton Tactics, and Snakeskin Veil. 1-cost protections. Dive Down and Snakeskin Veil grant Hexproof again, and a small buff. And Triton Tactics gives 2 of our creatures +0/+3 for a nice defensive buff, and it freezes the creatures that touch yours. Helping. Let's help ourselves even further. Aquatech's Will, River Herald's Boon. Aquatech's Will is another Island Walk card, turning a target land into an island, plus it'll probably also draw us a card. And I like River Herald's Boon because there's a freaking giant frog behind this guy. Why is that frog there? I don't know, we may never know. But anyway, this just puts a giant counter on a couple of things. I'm not a giant counter, just it puts normal +1/+1 counters on like 2 things. Luminescent Rain, a not so well known card here. Gain 2 life for each creature we control of the chosen type. This stacks extremely well, and we can potentially gain a bunch of life at instant speed. Deep Root Waters and Reflections of Litjara. Luminescent Rain looks a bit better now, huh? Whenever we cast a Merfolk spell, we'll make another one. And Reflections of Litjara can make a copy of our Anthem Givers, and it can also copy that tribal instant, turning another land into an island and drawing another card. This is the latest addition to the deck, and I am very pleased. Draw cards. We can't have an army without getting through our deck fast. Shaper's Sanctuary, Sylvan Library, and Beast Whisperer. These all help draw cards in different ways. Shaper's Sanctuary guaranteeing us a card even if one of our Merfolk dies. Sylvan Library, definitely the most expensive card in the deck, lets us draw additional cards on our draw step, which comes with a life loss drawback. And whenever we cast a creature spell, we'll draw a card with Beast Whisperer. Opt, Biomantic Mastery, and Overflowing Insight. These are just straightforward and just draw cards. The amount varies between the card, but you get the picture. Look, my cards! Plus Overflowing Insight features Kumena, which is a flavor win. Let's take care of the enemy. Yeah, we can't swing at people if they have stuff too, right? Now let's take care of that. Essence Shatter and Negate. 2 basic counter spells, and each do the opposite of one another, covering our creature and non-creature spell bases. Frozen Grip. Destroy an artifact or enchantment, and you don't give anyone a chance to respond. Mwahaha! Mistcaller, Harbinger of the Tides, and Tidebinder Mage. Notice how a lot of my helps and answers to problems are also Merfolk, which also helps buff our other creatures that are out. Mistcaller is very strong and prevents things like Itali Primal Storm's ability. Harbinger of the Tides has Flash if you pay 2 extra and returns a tapped creature to an opponent's hand, protecting you in combat. And Tidebinder Mage taps and freezes a red or green creature as long as it's out. Into the Royal and Crashing Tide. Return something to its owner's hand, and also draw a card. Raven Form and Incubation/Incongruity. Now let's just straight up exile something. Both give the controller a creature, but it's a small drawback for such power. You can also cast Incubation if you need a creature in a pinch. Unexpected. And by this I mean totally, probably, definitely expected. Dramatic Reversal and Tempest Caller. Untap all our things and then tap all creatures and opponent controls. This can help us weasel our way in and demolish an opponent. Plus, it's another Merfolk. Return of the Wild Speaker and Endray's Forerunners. These both grant large creature buffs all at once, and they can be game enders for sure. Plus, a 7/7 with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste is pretty scary by itself. And Return of the Wild Speaker also allows us to draw cards if we need that function as well, and it's at instant speed. Overwhelming Wave. Every deck needs a board wipe, right? And here's a few that help. Whelming Wave, Devastation Tide, and Slyn Voda, the Rising Deep. Basically wipe the board with a giant wave or a cyclone, but Slyn Voda also has the added benefit of not returning Merfolks to our hand, wiping everyone else but ourselves. Then swim in for the win.
I absolutely love this deck. It's so fun. I haven't played it in a long time, but man, I just forget how much fun it is, and I don't know, I really like it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and stuff, and if you guys have any suggestions of decks I should do, or just any comments at all, leave them in the comments, and I'll be there. And if I can't answer you because YouTube's being stupid, just know that I will. I do read the comments, and thank you so much for your support. And thank you guys so much. We will see you in next week's video.